Hello everybody and welcome back to Deutschland, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Farming Simulator 22. We've got, according to the old countdown, 124 days and 23 hours to go before the official launch of Farming Simulator 25 on November 12th at midnight CET. We're going to be having a launch party that night, and all of you are invited to attend. Launch parties are what we do here when Giants releases a new game and or DLC. We have an open multiplayer server and anyone and all can come and join. Experience the game, experience the DLC, and then provide direct commentary back to those watching as to what you think. I think it's great to offer that because it's one thing to hear what I think. It's one thing to hear what other creators think. But it's also, I feel, important to hear what fellow players think that honestly have no skin in the game. So that's going to be happening in 124 days and nope, 22 hours now. Hope you all have had a chance to check out my Riverbend Springs video I published last night. We did a live premiere that got some pretty good views on the premiere. It's gotten some pretty good views throughout the day today and last night. We go and break down the PDA, where things are, what types of things are on the map, how many sell points, how many construction contracts, our production points, where possible things are located on the map. I think there's going to be 3 farmhouses. That means there may be up to 3 different player farms on the map. We do know that we have buildable farmhouses on Farming Simulator 25 that we can place down a foundation and then deliver goods and make a usable farmhouse with a sleep trigger and hopefully interior. Sounds like from interviews from Giant staff that they are not extending that to other buildings. But, of course, figure that modders will do what modders do, and, well, I fully well suspect we're going to have plenty of buildable structures in FS25. Farmer G, what is up? What is up? It's going to be 45 gigs install size. That's 10 gigs larger than FS22, according to Steam, with their recommended settings. And I had a thought earlier today, and I want to know what you all think. I've been keeping it to almost myself. Okay, we know we have fog, and honestly, I'm going to try to refrain from talking about fog and God rays at this point because I think it's been talked to death. It's a cool feature. I'm looking forward to it. I hope to God they don't overdo the fog. And yeah, but bear with me for a moment. If we can have fog and we can have God rays, which are basically light being diffused through the fog, and fog is simply moisture in the air, what's to say we can't have... Anybody know where I'm going with this? Okay. What's to say that we can't have, after a rainstorm, a rainbow, a virtual rainbow in our little world after the rain? It's possible. I think everything's there, right? Maybe. Let me know. What do you think? Would you like to see a rainbow in your game? I'm going to pull up a picture of the tunnel. I'm going to pull up the picture of the PDA, and we're going to talk a little bit about that too. Because, yeah, I had that thought because I found a few things. One, the little boat at the sawmill. Then I saw a little boat over at the ferry. And then I saw other pictures that didn't have a little boat at the ferry. And okay, yeah, we can have parked cars that appear some places and not other places and come and go and everything. But we don't have traffic yet on the map, right? So this little boat is in different places. Or there's multiple little boats that are moving around. And then I found a tunnel. And the water goes up to the bridge where the road is, and then it vanishes. And then I found a little feeder coming off of a river over by the ferry landing, going kind of towards the tunnel on the other side of that landmass. And well, I stitched the line between the two, and I thought, no, they didn't do that, did they? And then I thought, what if they did? And then I thought, oh, I hope they did. And then I thought, I have to share this with the world. And then I did it. So there. I am so hoping that I am right, because I think that's a cool thing to do. No, yeah, Joel, no, they're not using ray tracing because I can pull up a picture of a light under an awning. If they were using ray tracing, there should be no light under the awning, because the awning should be shadowing in that. Farmer G, I think Auction David had a rainbow on a map, but I don't think it was like the game rendering a rainbow. I think he just had like a rainbow in the skybox. I don't know how he did it. We gotta plant wheat in this field tonight. Blue butterfly, welcome. Welcome. Yeah, we pinned down where that round barn was with that photo I really liked with the tree, and then the house up on the hill. That's just across the way from the animal dealer. I don't know which map it was, if it was in 19 or 22. So with 4K textures, the buildings are going to look absolutely outstanding. We know we're going to have reflections. We've got the clear coat layer. So any tractor or any vehicle that's not converted over with clear coat will just be dull, right? It'll be dull like these, where we don't have reflections. And then any tractor or vehicle that does have clear coat, well, they should stand out like a sore thumb in game because of the reflections. And I think a lot of people will pick up on that and be like, oh, why does this mod not have my reflections? Well, it's because it wasn't fully brought over. I know my window's open. It's winter. I like the cold, brisk air. It keeps me awake. It's also stuck open. And then I want to know who can say Sunset Sunflower Farm super fast multiple times, because I think that's hard. That's the name of one of the farms that's going to be on the map, I believe. Sunset Sunflower Farm. right, let's go and let's go fertilize the other field with our sprayer tractor. Oh, that was a question. I don't know if they've confirmed 4K textures or not. Sounds like it's going to be a couple weeks before we get our FarmCon videos published in a blog that we can then go and watch. I'll be looking forward to when they get those published to go back and watch those to see if there's anything that is really mentioned that other people are kind of glossing over or not really bringing up at all. There's a lot of interesting improvements to the Giants engine. Most of those improvements are visual enhancements or optimizations that then ultimately are there probably to bring forward those visual enhancements. Oh, the scripting farming simulator with Lua. That was referenced in their scripting presentation on day 2. So, CWG Gaming, I have been scouring the web all day trying to find out more information about that. And as best I can tell, and I asked Evoza, who was the Discord member, channel member that went to FarmCon, that provided me those images from my FarmCon videos. I asked him if they mentioned anything about it, and I showed him the slide that I was provided that was apparently posted over at Reddit, and he said that him nor his friend that went with him, neither of them recalled seeing that presentation, or seeing that slide in the presentation. I have images that were shown on that slide, but apparently the slide never was shown. I have reached out to a couple content creators that were at the event, and they have confirmed that they did not see that slide at all during the presentation. So my only guess is that that slide was skipped for some reason, either as a result of time, and or maybe they decided at the last minute that the feature wasn't ready to be shown off or talked about. For those that aren't sure what I'm talking about, there was a slide released to at least some partners that showed an old character, an old guy, and I think I've shown that picture, or those pictures, and they talk about mouth movements and facial expressions and lip syncing to a voice, but they don't go into any real context. Yeah, that's Jason. That's the slide I said was Jason. So they don't go into a lot of context, and it's unclear as to, is this some new single player feature, like you go up to an NPC and there's a script that they talk, like they give you a mission or some sort of storyline, Or is this some new or is this some new, like, characters that we can pick? And is it a multiplayer thing where if you use in-game voice chat, your character will appear as if it's speaking when you're speaking in in-game voice chat? I don't know. It could be any of those things. And we don't know. So I'm taking the stance that until we hear something official, it doesn't really exist. What's up, Pleasant View Farms? So yeah, I mean, they added, right? They added voice chat so they could do cross-platform multiplayer, and console players could talk to each other, and they could talk to PC players. So wouldn't that be an interesting thing where in multiplayer, if you were standing looking at another player and they were talking, that their avatar talked? Or is it something else? Like, is that how you are introduced to construction missions? I don't know how it would inflect for emotion if it was just a voice chat bot. What's up, Waylon? How you doing? So chalk that up to the potential features maybe coming that have been announced. Who's been playing with the FarmCon vent pack? This is one of the tractors they released. FarmCon. I thought I'd use it on this map to spray. Why not? So a little bit about ground deformation that I learned. We see the tire tracks, and from what it sounds like, ground deformation will use a mechanic similar to the tire tracks with respect to storing their data, right? So as you drive your vehicle over different soil types, be it plowed soil, cultivated soil, seeded, ready to harvest, harvested, rolled, gravel, regular dirt, grass, the ground will deform under your tires. And the amount that the ground deforms is based on, I assume, weight of your vehicle, and also the soil type, and also potentially if the soil is wet. Now, some have maybe projected that that means that there's soil moisture. Ground moisture is a concept in the game. I'm advocating it's possibly a bit more rudimentary than that. And it's simply just like your tires are going to be wet, right? You're going to have wet tires. You're going to have water droplets on your tractor. Maybe it's raining, you get water droplets on your windshield. That would be awesome, that the wipers wipe them away. And it was mentioned that over time, after it stops raining, your vehicle will dry, the road will dry, the tires will dry. I am thinking that a wet ground is simply over time after raining, it will go from wet to dry, and not necessarily the concept of ground moisture. But I might be wrong. I just tend to want to take the more conservative approach to things, and hopefully I'm pleasantly surprised. But at any rate, it turns out that the ground deformation is tracked basically in memory. And at some point when the ground deformation memory is full, just like with respect to these tractor marks, these tire marks, at some point when the tire marks memory is full, the old tire marks vanish as new tire marks are created. So what it sounds like to me is that if you're driving around a lot, you may notice that the ground deformation vanishes as new ground formation is created if you have ultimately filled up that buffer. It has different soil states, let's just say that. And this, we've always had different soil states. Because they're right here. Where is it? It's plowed. We have cultivated soil, we have plowed soil, right? We have rolled or seed bed. We have basically planted because we're growing. We have a ready to harvest state, so that would be in theory the hardest ground that a field could probably be under. I don't know what you mean by phone or camera being legit. Like a photo mode? But I have no idea what you mean by phone. I know camera mode has been a request. Oh, I think. I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe that's a stretch. But we'll see. We got 4 months. We got 124 days left before we basically can give up hope that a favorite feature that we've been wanting is not coming. But again, Giants didn't announce every feature in Farm Sim 22. There were some little features that were there, like I call it the dynamic PDA, right? To where you can merge fields and the field state is an overlay over the PDA, and if you merged all these together, it appears one big field. I mean, that was not in 19. That was new in 22. That was not anything anybody announced or talked about. But I know people have requested a photo mode. There's that photo mode mod, which I think is just way too complex. I don't get it. It's like, I'm not a photographer. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's, like your tire tracks are not preserved between game sessions, right? They're not stored in a save. So if you load the game up, you have no tire tracks until you drive around. And then when you save the game and exit, all your tire tracks go away. It may be keeping file size down on save games because of everything else that they're tracking. Now I use 300% on my tires, on my tire tracks, right? So I gotta do a whole lot of driving in order for those to eventually get to the point where they're vanishing away. But I would caution you that I don't think your ground deformation tire tracks are going to survive the save game. So when you save the game and exit, I don't think you're going to have your deformation when you come back in. I could be wrong. It's just how I'm interpreting it, because in an interview it was referenced to be like tire tracks, and at some point the buffer would fill and the old would be replaced with new. OWG Gaming. Farm Sim 22, we had 13 weeks of fact sheets. I was asked that question last week, and I said at that point in time I felt 2 months. But then I went back and looked, and I have 13 weeks of fact sheets, so I would say 3 months now. So I would say early to mid-August would be possibly fact sheet start. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much memory keeping track of tire track data takes. But it's also, you know, remember back in the day when we had consoles with less than 8 gigs of RAM for their entire system. So therefore the game didn't have access to 8 gigs of RAM. Between graphic memory and save state information and all that other stuff. And as we move away from those platforms now into the modern platforms, which has 16 gigs of shared memory, I think both Xbox and PlayStation 5 have 16. That may free up some of those resources. But then again, if they're doing a bunch of other things, those freed up resources may be chewed up by other enhancements. Kalash Farmer, welcome. Look, if you're not going to move, I am going to. So I want to get this fertilizer. I want to get this field fertilized. I want to get the seeder over on the other field so I can hire a helper, and then I'm gonna pull up the PDA and I'm gonna show you what I think the tunnel of love. I'm gonna call it the tunnel of forestry love. I want to show you why I think there's a tunnel, and why I think the tunnel is going to be for transporting logs and floating them down the river. It may be a pipe dream, it may be reality. We'll know soon enough. I don't want to put sulfuric acid in this thing. Oh my freaking gosh. They drove all the way down here, forgetting that I have my own source of liquid fertilizer on the farm. Thank you, Farm Production Pat. Probably the only thing that really will ever be used much from that pack. I did start to wonder when I learned about the variable the dynamic shelving, variable shelving that was discussed about with respect to the farmers market and little sell points scattered around the map. I got to wondering if maybe they were going to incorporate that functionality of limited buy amounts, right? So a little vegetable stand isn't going to buy 10,000 liters of carrots. They may only buy 1,500 liters of carrots. But I don't know if they would do that because the Farm Production Pack is technically a third-party DLC, and in theory, they don't add third-party stuff to their game. So I'm thinking maybe we won't see that. So this does support variable spray width. I mean, this is a pretty cool mod for a medium small size farm. Hoff-Bergman fans, I linked in chat right before the start of the stream. Just out of the blue, I thought I'd go over to Farmer Andy's site, lsfarmingmods.com. And he's working on a summer update to Hoff-Bergman 1.5 will be the release number for FS22. Probably the last update for Hoff-Bergman. Lots of interesting things coming. So we will be covering that map update when it does release. We're going to be multiplayer live testing of Nebraska lands at some point. That will be a 16x PC map. Map sizes are confirmed. They're still 2 kilometers squared. Alright, let's get this seeder working. What are you all excited about that you learned about from FarmCon? I think that's fine. Let's blame it on Sony. They're always paranoid. Even though they seem to be the market leader these days on the console front. Are you serious? The vehicles on this map rate check you if you get too close. Sherry is most excited about the GPS announcement. Very, very exciting. So it sounds like right now you will not be able to save your course. Your course, will be dynamically generated every time you approach a field based on your implement that is attached. It really means, I think, that possibly, very, very likely, it's going to be even more and more important that mods with implements are properly set up with respect to working width, and also that tractor mods are well set up with respect to like turning radiuses and things, because it looks like, based on a screenshot that I have seen, and I can pull that up also, that in order for the game to properly generate a course, it needs to know the tractor's turning radius, it needs to know the working width of the implement, and field boundaries need to be well defined, amongst other things. I think it will, Old Dungeon Master. Now, maybe like it is now, it may need to be on low settings. But I think it will. What? But I think it'll work, because the minimum specs are at 1050, and I believe the minimum specs were set at 720p, 30 FPS, maybe. So I will be testing it on my AMD system that I use to test maps now with integrated graphics. So I will be trying that out once I get access to it. I don't expect to have access until just before launch. So just like we have maps where you can't do the whole, drive from point A to point B thing. I think it's going to be more important now to have vehicles and implements that are well defined with respect to their capabilities. I'm going to do 2 headlands, and then I'm going to just hire a helper. Because I need to get this field planted before the end of this game day. Now, GPS will work on mod maps. It will work when you merge fields and change fields and create fields. So GPS will still work on maps like No Man's Land, where you're making your own field. Same way you can hire a helper now on a No Man's Land map field that you create. Think of GPS as an extension of how the current helper works, but obviously better. We know we're getting approximately 25 crops because we've counted the growth calendar on the Collector's Edition screenshot, and we know that we have 20 crops now if we count the premium expansion crops. So 2 types of rice, being regular rice and long grain rice, and spinach. We know we're up to 23 of 25. So what could the other 2 crops be? We know we are getting other animals other than buffalo also to the game. What could those be? There's a flower cart over at Sunset Sunflower Farms. That looks like a little cart where you can sell flowers. Could that be something? Thank you for the sub, J Meister 1989. If you're in chat, say hey. And the way I see it, I don't know anything about auto drive. Auto drive is probably more separate. But I've always thought Horseplay was simply a very sophisticated extension to the base game help system. But I always saw it as an extension to the existing help system. Just a much smarter, more in-depth way of doing it. Donald with his 19-month membership, it reminds me last live stream I got so excited I forgot. This video is brought to you by Gizmo UK and Doughboy2913. Thank you for being farm barons. Chad, what is up? What is up? You got your new PC today. Great. That is awesome. Getting ready for your upgrade. I will love to hear what Farm Sim 22 looks like with everything turned up. I mean, it should look like on my live stream. I think you'll enjoy Farm Sim 22 all turned up. Let alone waiting for 25. Oh, probably not long, Donald. Alright, we'll let him do his thing. Let me get something pulled up. Welcome to the PDA for Farm Sim 25's Riverbend Springs. So I have deduced that this is the sawmill. This is the log pond. This is the train bridge that is here. This appears to be a land bridge. Solid land here. Right? No access to the river. Where do these logs come from? There's no access to the river. Ask you that. Where, you know? It's solid. Any hoot. What is this? What is this? Water, and then it comes up to the road and stops. What is this? This little finger coming in here, and then it just dead ends. Okay, you know, that's possible. But look, if we go straight across, I'll be a monkey's uncle. If you could do that, look at what you cut off. You cut off all of this. Well, we've already established. That's solid. At least what the PDA looks like right now. Right? Right? Okay. I could have done this better. Oh, wait, what's this? Sunset Sunflower Farms. Look, it's a little flower cart. Like you can sell flowers here. Could that be something you do? Hmm? Hmm? Could that be something you do? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where this video is. They're not numbered. Ah. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. All right, so this is a sawmill, right? Right. Right, okay, here's a sawmill. That, you see that boat? There's the bridge. There's the train bridge. It's hard to tell if that's land over there. How far away that land is. Right, it's hard to tell. But it looks awful close. That's that old rundown building. All right, and then look at this. What? What? That's the road. That's the road up there. This is water. And where does it go? Hmm? Where does that go? All right, so we've seen this boat, right? I probably could have done this better. Look, look here. Look, there's a little boat. And remember, oops. Remember, right? The sawmill's here. That's where the little boat was. Imagine the little boat went tug, 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 tug. This is the ferry landing. So park it over here. Tug, 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 back over there. Right? Because let's pull up this one. Okay, this is I run it. I wanna drive this boat. I wanna drive this little boat. Okay, so we're walking along the river. I like how we got some houses here with the stilts. Right? There seems to be an awful lot of these sailboats. Right, okay. So we're going down the river. Pause. That's the ferry landing over there. There's the little finger should be somewhere in this general vicinity. Okay. And now we are walking along this dirt road. Look, there's the ferry landing over there. Because we're going to turn here at this road. This is dirt. This is paved. And we're going to come down to the ferry landing. Is there a little tugboat over here? No. Where's the little tugboat? It's not there. So either it's deco and it comes and goes on its own free will, or it's something that we drive. So there's the ferry landing. On the other side of the river. We have water reacting because we're walking in it, right? You know, we've got water reaction here. All right, so all of that is here. So we had that big sell point with the barge right here. And then these were the houses that were on stilts and things. And then we suddenly appeared here on this dirt road. We came around this bend and we could see the other ferry landing. And then we landed on this paved road and we came down to the ferry landing. So this is the ferry landing. All right. Because in another video, we're walking through this woods and we can look down to the ferry landing through the woods. And then we eventually make our way up to this clearing and we can see this. So that's my theory and I'm sticking to it. What do you think? I like it. I had fun putting that video together and trying to locate all those things on the map. Which I can tell you was a little difficult because the PDA is not done. Right? What I thought was the town was not the town. The town ended up being in a completely different part of the map. So we've got 4 months to go. Plenty of time for more announcements. I think we're going to be jaw dropped multiple times between now and November. I mean, just the idea of wet tires and wet roads and reflections on the roads, reflections on the vehicles. I feel everything's just going to be so much more immersive. There we go. Question is, what are you all playing between now and November? let's reconfigure this. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. What? Oh man, we're doing that. What's the laptop config? It doesn't surprise me, but we need to bring food over here. I suspect it's an Intel laptop with an integrated GPU. Intel's integrated GPUs have been crashed for a long time for anything other than just general 2D work. I know Jolly was getting into Construction Simulator. Farmer G's busy in Montana. Oh yeah, that's not gonna be good. 4 gigs is way low these days. So, Chad, didn't you ask if maybe we would get the dead tree contracts in the new maps? In the Silver Run Forest? And then I had an idea. You know, we have buildable roller coasters. Imagine if we had an entire amusement park. A buildable amusement park. What do you think of that? Like a whole map that was just amusement park. And resources to build it. Someone was saying they were wondering if maybe dead tree missions were coming back. They said it looked like there was a lot of dead trees on the map. We're totally building our house. I look forward to modders coming out with other buildable buildings. I want to build my own farm. I want to build my own animal pasture by drawing the border out and placing things. I hope that's a feature. Yeah, it'll be like, what, amusement park simulator, but build it out. right, David. Catch you later. Thank you for dropping by. Yago, Dark Moon, welcome. How are things going? Oh. Don't mind me. Just dropping my keyboard. I don't know if you could hear that or not. Oh, Peachy. Peach Cobbler Peachy? Oh, well, I built that up. Let's take the rest over to our flour mill. Make some flour. I think the map, I think Riverbend Springs had like what, 13 production icons, 12 sell points, multiple buy points to buy things, 3 potential farms because there were 3 farmhouses on the PDA. And if I'm remembering right from Silver Run Forest and Zelonka, construction places were simply sell points until you owned them. So 12 sell points could be some number of unowned construction sites also. We've had the Unimog in just about every farm sim that I'm aware of, going back to FS17. So I think it's probably a good possibility. I think there is a houseboat. I think that's a houseboat. And this is right down by the ferry. don't know, that house looked pretty permanent. I did see one video where someone was claiming that they saw the boats bobbing up and down in the water. I think that was a stretch. I don't think we saw that. Red. Oh, we need to activate. All right, let's make it December. Oh, welcome to December. Oh, the grass is suddenly gone. We could weed. It would be nice if they offered different units of measurement. I was like, what did I run over? A chicken? I ran over a cone. I'll be looking forward to the shadows. I think like a time like this, dusk and dawn, the shadows will really accentuate, you know, the overall believability, the immersion level. I think that seems like where a lot of the things that they talked about at FarmCon were focused, were on visual enhancements. I would like to see a little bit more in-depth seasonal gameplay. Yeah, we can turn it off, so why can't we have more in-depth gameplay now in the next iteration? Maybe bring it in slow. Slow and steady wins the race. Grass drying to hay. That would be a big one. We have consumables now on our baler, right? We know we now have to fill net wrap and baling wrap, but they also have put in a mechanic for those people that do not want to fill. It was likened to and compared to, like with the premium expansion, root crop harvesters that require a box, a crate, to where you can either supply the crate to the harvester or just buy the crate at the harvester. The same general mechanic will hold for your baler consumables, where you could buy the consumable and bring it to the baler, or you could just buy the consumable at the baler. So for those that didn't want to really mess with transporting and keeping up with the consumables, you could just buy them at cost when they ran out in the field. So I think that's a happy medium between the two of want more realism and could give a flying hoot about realism. I just want to make my bales. I would have to believe that would then extend to square bales as well. Well, speaking of moonlight, right, we're going to get stars and a moon. Let me see if I can't find that image. How about them apples? A starry night. A moon that actually has something other than just a giant blob in the sky. I want to turn this thing off. That annoys the bejesus out of me. And I would love to just erase it. Just imagine taking a stroll out in the middle of the night, looking up at the Milky Way. Will we be able to have a South American sky if we play on a Southern Hemispherian map? Oh, that would be a cool thing. I've never seen, and I probably will never get to see what the Southern Hemisphere sky looks like, other than through something like Farming Simulator. I would expect it would. Farmer G extend to standalone wrappers as well, because we have a fill animation. But before we show that, I just want to show wet tires, right? You ignore the fact this is John Deere. See how the tires are shiny? Now, the reason the tractor is kind of bouncing around like this, it's actually making ruts in the ground. You see the shiny tires? No, this is in a... There we go. See the shiny tires? It's because we're driving in water. See the water wake So the water is responding to us driving through it. No more static water plane that we just whip right through. Now, right now he's driving in a flooded rice field. And we learned if you don't know how you make a flooded rice field, you basically draw it out like you're drawing a fence. You draw the four corners, and then it flattens the land, or in this case, it looks like it brought it up. And then there's this over here to fill the area, or fill the flooded area with water. So here we have the baler. Wait, we get a John Deere baler. Everyone get excited about this. Oh. See, we have net wrap. 4 wraps of net wrap. We have 12 units of bale wrap. If we go and fill up our baler and we don't have any wrap, it says, oh, wait, we don't have any wrap. I can't wrap the bale. Alright, well, at this point, you can hit R to refill this and be done. Or, if you can't stop staring at this circle in the middle screen, bale textures look nice. They look maybe a little enhanced. Well, at least we have a Fendt tractor here that we're going to use. So here we have John Deere branded bale wrap. And then we have Lizard branded foil wrap. So I guess that's bale wrap too. And then Randy wrap. I'm Randy for some Randy wrap. That's going to be our bale wrap. That is a Finnish company. And then this has 40 boxes of bale wrap. I like that we have not only the fill type, but we have the word. So on a mod map where we have multiple icons that look the same or very similar, we'll at least have the word. So we present it. Now we start filling. You can see here an animation of it going in this chamber. So I can see on a standalone wrapper where it like puts it on those little spindles beside the wrapper. Then you will be able to select the bale color they mentioned. And that's it. So there you can see where the bale wrap is, the net wrap. So GPS is most likely the biggest feature people are mostly interested in. I want to pull up this image. because this image shows a really interesting course, and I was tracing this course out earlier today. But you can see over here, this is some debugging information, right? So we're picking the tractor and then the implement. The implement has a rated width of 9 meters, a turning radius of 7.009 on the tractor. It's set for 2 headlands. Headlands first, yes or no. Allow turn, no. Allow straight, yes. Offset front and rear. Static tools, full overlap, blah, 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 yada, 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 yada. All right, and then regenerate. This is obviously some sort of debugging thing, a developer thing. Maybe we'll be able to use the dev console to pull this up. Maybe it's just completely a dev tool that Giants has access to. But this was a really, really interesting course. So I took this to mean the starting point. I'm trying to figure out where I started. Right here. So I took this as being the starting point, and since this says headlands first, no, it's going to do your up and down passes first, right? So this is a starting point. It starts right here on this pass, and it goes up, loops, right? So we're just doing the old laying the heated flooring in the floor. Loop, right? Loop. And then it gets interesting here. It's loops, right? Loop. And then it goes like a curly Q thing. And then it starts doing a headland. Here. Did a big curly Q thing. Big curly Q thing. Because it's doing all the turns on the map. And then it loops back this way. Around, down, and done. So, I mean, that's not a simple course. Keeping all the turns in field. And then here we have same general thing. And then some sample courses about how that would be laid out for a given field. Several fields here. So I'm looking forward to this GPS thing. It's snowing! Well, maybe the dark green is the reindeer wrap color. There was the mention of mud accumulating on the tires, and then as you drive like through a road, or basically as you're driving off anything that's not a field, the mud on the tires would dissipate. There was mention that that mechanic would also hold for snow. I guess that was Wind's Flare on the Moon. It was definitely not just a crisp circle. There was some additional light there. Maybe you have astigmatism. Maybe that's an issue with your in-game character. They have an astigmatism. I think working at night will become a lot more interesting with the shadows. As you drive by trees, like those shadows are going to move. Right now we don't get shadows on trees. We don't get shadows. I mean, we should here get shadows on the fence, but we don't. So I guess there we're getting a little bit of an effect, right? Yeah. Now the other day I tried to get a shadow on a tree and didn't get anything. Right, but I think we have a tree now. I mean, that's interesting. Let me get a different vehicle. See, yeah, no. Let me get something that's base game. Nope. We're not spraying. Let's go see if we can shadow that tree with this. It's like this tractor is giving us shadows more than the other ones are. Now the real question is, when will we get the next bit of Farm 25 news? How long will it be? I have a feeling it's going to be, they're going to publish the FarmCon 25 presentations first. And then after they do that, then we might start getting some more news. Oh, that was plowed. We're not going to get weeds down there. Good. I thought I hit that. I want to have more of a dynamic PDA down at the lower menu map. There was a mod for that in 17 for a dynamic mini map. So as you would fertilize, it would show where you fertilized. As you seeded, it would show. As you did anything, it would show the ground state changing down in the mini map. And they kind of added that with precision farming for some things, but not everything. Oh, we'll release version 6 of the modding tutorials after the game releases. I don't really know when they released version 5 at no price cost. You know, right now version 6 is available via the collector's edition. Version 6, if you can't get the collector's edition, will be available through their eShop. And then at some point they'll be published just over at the developer network. So yeah, that was a mod I really enjoyed in 17 that didn't make its way to 19, and well, obviously did not make its way to 22. It would definitely be one of those quality of life changes. All right, let's check. We have no milk. Because, oh my gosh, they have no water. Never water those cows up in the other pen. I wonder if the road will get wet with snow. Where do you want your water? Where do you want your drink? Oh, how about here? We're just gonna save time. Let's do this one more time. Wonder where this road goes. We need mineral feed down here. We'll figure out where this road goes. Take a stroll through the woods. Oh, look at that. That's a lot less hillier way to get over there. Now I have a new way to get over there. Oh, treat the roads. I want the weeds to be like a neon pink. Then you can see where they were and where they aren't. These green, but not quite the same shade of green as your plants, your crops, is not a cool thing. Alright, we also need to go see if we can't cast a shadow on that other tree. We do. But that tree, we got a shadow on that tree. So it's like this vehicle's set up with lights different than everything else. Gonna get that mineral feed. right, catch you later. Oh my gosh. Catch you later, Yaga Dark Moon. I might be using it, Joel. Let's look. Custom lighting. And I can change map. Use the Silver Run Forest lighting. I don't know. I don't mess with it because that's additional game settings. I like it because it's got camera smoothness. It has this fade effect, so when you change, there's a little 500 millisecond fade, and it helps smooth out the camera panning. So you can do other things. And depth of field off. Right, change if animals are there or not. It'll be sad when we move to 25 and we don't have it. Because I can definitely notice when I am playing and I don't have it activated for some reason, just the general camera movements feel a lot less smooth. And I use it to allow me to, do things like this, so we don't get that jerking when you get around a building. See? I don't like that zooming. It's definitely worth adding to your gameplay and experimenting with those settings. Oh, it's lights on a building. I was like, what are these things over here? Oh, they might be collectibles. I haven't gone around and collected all the collectibles on this map. All right, come on. Let's make our way up to the cow farm again. And then I think it'll be ready for us to jump into January. And we'll probably just close it out at that point. Weapon, what's up? A little late to the show tonight, but that's okay. There's always the replay. We're back on FS22, just generally hanging out. Talk a little bit about FS25. But not too much. Not too much. Did find a new way over to this farm. Yeah, I've had late notifications. Sometimes days late. I've got notifications on my own videos that I released like 2 days ago. I didn't realize that in cab we had gear indicator lights on this tractor, truck, Unimog, whatever you want to call it. Oh, look at that. It raises up, then tips. Oh, interesting. Oh, that should hold them for a wee bit of time. Is the mixer up here? No, the straw blower's up here. The runner was fun. It got old for me. And I've seen thumbnails like we're still pumping out like seasonal updates. Alright, where is my mixer? Oh, it's inside. Oh, Chicken Rancher, it's fine. It's always flat out. Back in FS19, I did a multiplayer on a US map, and I wanted to use the farm name Full Throttle Farms. But wouldn't you know it, Full Throttle Farms is actually a registered trademark for a legit farm. So I didn't use Full Throttle Farms because of that. But I really wanted to. Yeah, I wanted to name the series Full Throttle Farms, right? But I was like, I don't want to mess with anybody's trademark and somebody come after you and say, hey, you can't do that, yada, yada, yada. Sometimes I use a wheel, sometimes I don't. It's like literally flip a coin. Usually if I'm driving third person, I do not. I just use a keyboard. If I'm in cab, I'll use a wheel. If I'm backing up, it's almost always going to be a keyboard. I don't like a controller. I have issues holding the controller. My hands go numb, so. Oh, where does this go? Oh, look, this just takes us right down to our little sheepies. I didn't even know that. That's okay. I wouldn't. It's just too many button combinations to remember. It's like my kid, he's 10, he likes to use a controller. Well, he grew up, he's still growing up. He started playing Switch, so right controller, and that's how he just learned to play games, was with a Switch controller. And then when I got him a laptop and I gave him an Xbox controller, and he was using that to play some PC games, and then he got into Helldivers. Yeah, I let my 10-year-old play Helldivers too. Anyway, he got into Helldivers too. He tried to do PC Fortnite on keyboard and mouse and just didn't really like it. But somebody really talked him into Helldivers 2 with a keyboard online, and I guess he's practiced and worked it out, and now he tells me he basically prefers the keyboard. and then prefers playing Fortnite on keyboard, which I understand because with a controller, like it's like pan, right? Move around. But with a mouse, it's like, you know, you can flick. So it makes sense why you would prefer one over the other. But then people play PC games with Xbox controllers all the time. People play PC games with PlayStation 4 controllers or PlayStation controllers all the time. So it's really whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you're used to, and really whatever works for you. Some people can't play Farm Sim without a wheel, pedal, joystick, or multiple joysticks and like 5 button boxes. And they've got everything so customized that if they try to play with a keyboard, it's like, I can't. I don't know. Really. So it's whatever works for you. Well, you're almost as old as I am. We'll just leave it at that, because when you turn half a century, you don't want to talk about it to a lot of people. But and on that drop bomb, we're gonna call it quits for the night. I want to thank y'all for coming out and watching. I do not plan on streaming tomorrow. It's Wednesday. Typically, I try to not stream on Wednesday. Maybe Giants will drop a map tomorrow, and if that is the case, then we will be doing a map video. If not, well, I'm just going to chill out and hang out and do other things here at the house. The plan is to be back here Thursday night on Farming Simulator. Unless, again, Giants drops a map. Then we'll be doing that. And then Friday night, we're going to be Friday Night Wreckfest over at our secondary channel, Explanation Point FK's Funhouse. For that is always a hoot and a blast. And until next time, happy farming.